times.
Well, let's have a deeper conversation about that with Sam Caucci. He's the CEO and founder of One Huddle. He's also the author of the new book, which is called Wasted Talent, How Greed, Exploitation, and the Promise of the Future of Work Has Failed the Front Line and a Plan to Fix It. It all fits on the front of the cover of this book. You will find Sam at Sam, C-A-U-C-C-I. Sam Caucci, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Tim. Great to be here.
So, do we have talent in the country, or is the H-1B visa something a little bit different? HB-1 visas.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely, Tim, have talent in the country. I think that was a very messy exchange on the part of the president, but it speaks to a bigger underlying issue, which is that are we doing a really good job as a nation building talent? And the answer to that question is overwhelmingly no. According to the OECD, the U.S. is ranked second to last in industrialized countries for talent investment. We spend 0.1% of GDP on it. And, any elected official speaking about the American workforce as lacking talent or not having talent is insulting. It's wrong. It's misguided. And that's not to also, two things can be right at the same time. The H-1B1 visa program is a great program because a great nation, just like a great business, can build talent internally and acquire new talent externally. So I think it's a big concern. It's a big issue. It's very revealing.
I know you say that if you think that the U.S. leads the world in workforce development, you're falling for the biggest myth. So what is it that companies are not doing? In other words, how do you invest in workforce development and trying to figure out how to increase the use of the talent that might be out there?
Well, today there's no doubt about it. Sure, we've all talked a fair deal about AI. I think that at the center of talent development has got to be this reality that what a job is today is not going to be the same tomorrow. It's believed that the shelf life of a skill is shorter than ever. 50% of the tasks that make up work will change over the next 15 to 20 years. And that means that organizations need to be really great at continuous reskilling, upskilling, and cross-skilling as work is being de-skilled. So that means leveraging technology as infrastructure. It means leaning into AI as a way to accelerate skill development and identify skilling opportunities. Where we can go wrong here is continuing to stay on our heels and allowing technology to affect the economy and affect work and not keeping people at the center of it. It's why I wrote the book. You mentioned wasted talent. It's all about this point of view that, people are the point, and a workforce is only strong if every worker can compete and participate. And if we want to win at the future of work, we need to start by thinking about the skills that make up our economy.
I want to ask about that in the sense of, and I'm not sure if you cover this in the book, but the idea of, for example, social skills, because it seems to me that one of the great challenges of a generation growing up with electronic companions, cell phones, tablets, etc., is that their interactivity with other people is not the same as it was when I was growing up. And as a result of that, your interpersonal skills are somewhat lacking. And I'm using that word in the most general sense, but it does seem to me that that's something I encounter quite often. And I wonder if that is an important part of development, if it's something that businesses have either an interest in or an obligation to take part in.
I think you're on the money. I hear the same sentiment when I talk to CEOs and HR talent leaders and frontline managers that, you got a different generation of worker coming into work. They have different needs, different skills, and I would double click on that. What I tell brands is that I don't think we have a skill gap. I think workers have an experience gap. And for younger workers, Gen Z, by the way, hope you're ready for Gen Alpha, Tim, because we're back at the top of the alphabet here. So young kids coming through high school now are Gen Alpha, but they just haven't had the same face-to-face communication experiences, the talk time live that prior generations did. I remember my first sales job. I was knocking on doors and was making 100 sales calls a day. That is not happening anymore, which means that if companies want to win with talent, they need to adjust and they need to invest more in talent development programs that close the experience gap. It means they can't fear failure in learning. It means we probably need to do a little less of these, watch the module, take the quiz compliance things that we force workers to do. That is really not about building capabilities. It's really about, covering risk. So that is the shift. Organizations need to think more about talent building, identify the skill gap, identify an experience gap, and tackle it.
Sam Caucci, CEO, founder of One Huddle, and author of Wasted Talent, is with us on POTUS. It also seems to me that I've heard this forever, but you're also bringing up the idea that it becomes more important to succeed in the short term. In other words, this short-term profit maximization is just something that is still with us.
Sure. I mean, organizations have to win with what they have where they are. And, that means quarter over quarter. We do a lot of work with hospitality, retail, travel, and tourism brands. We're looking really closely at the labor market given the holiday season. It's obviously very tough coming out of a government shutdown with a lot of access to real data that might be complementary to talent teams and organizations that think about recruiting. But again, the long game here, the organizations that win are going to have the deepest bench. They're going to have skills within their four walls that they can continuously repurpose, because it costs a company 5 times more to go to Indeed, ZipRecruiter, go external to recruiters to buy new talent than it does to build it. And if a worker today has a set of skills, we know they're going to shift. Organizations need to be great at continuously reappropriating and realigning the talent they pay for to the new opportunities for their business.
Sam Caucci, thank you for joining us on POTUS today.
Tim, thanks for having me.
A lot of food for thought. He's the CEO, founder of One Huddle, the author of Wasted Talent, How Greed, Exploitation, and the Promise of the Future of Work has failed the front line and a plan to fix it. You will find him at Sam, C-A-U-C-C-I, at Sam Caucci. In a moment.